Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs show. This is Ravens Bills.
Whoa!
All right, so this is Sunday Night Football at 6:30. This is a game that we've been waiting for. This is a game that has the two MVP candidates going into it. Ravens are on the road to Orchard Park. Bills Mafia will be loud and proud. Bills are minus or plus one. Sorry, they were minus one. Now they are plus one. Home dogs, basically a pick 'em. Totals 51 and a half. And we'll give it to resident Ravens fan Nixon.
Yep,
If
this
you could
is
not tell by the Ravens hat, the two Ravens jerseys behind them,
shout out Cal Hamilton and Lamar Jackson. Yeah, no, like Tommy alluded to, this is definitely going to be the matchup of the weekend. Hopefully it lives up to it. It's January. It's cold as hell outside. It's even cold in Florida. So I imagine Buffalo on Sunday is going to be cold as hell.
we're about 2 hours south of Buffalo here in Syracuse. It's cold as fuck. It snows
As
every
fuck.
day.
Listen, now imagine, Tommy, you're that cold, right? And there's this 250 pound 6'3" fucking running back that you have to go tackle.
Brick wall, tackling a brick wall,
Give him the ball.
moving
I
at you.
want 30 carries on Sunday. I want Derrick Henry to have 30 carries. And I know everybody's going to talk about the Lamar, Josh Allen, MVP talk, whatever. Listen, I'm a fan of the team. I just want them to win the damn game. I don't care if Lamar throws the ball 10 fucking times. If we win, I don't care. And I think this Lamar feels the same way. Like the shtick against him has always been his performances in the playoffs and ultimately the team not winning. He has a guy now where he could just lean back on and kind of, take a lot of pressure off of him. And I feel like this is the perfect game in the perfect setting to just unleash Derrick Henry. And we saw that last week against the Steelers. We had a 13 play drive. We did not throw the ball. We ran like 7 zone reads, and then we gave it up to Derrick Henry up the middle, like the other 7 plays, 6 plays. Like it's really that simple when it comes down to us. Here's another thing, just another caveat. The Bills don't play base defense. They never have 3 linebackers out there. They always are in nickel. They're always are in dime. We saw what happened in week 4. I know the Bills are a better team than they were in week 4. But we still pose the same problems personnel wise. We line up in 2 running back. We line up in 2 tight end. We have 6 offensive linemen sometimes. The Bills just aren't on defense. I mean, on defense are not built to stop that. Now, my only worry as a fan, obviously, if Josh Allen has one of those games where nobody could stop him and he's just running around going crazy, it's going to be hard to win, especially on the road. But I'm confident that we could rely on the running game, impose our will there, keep Josh Allen off the field, control the clock, and ultimately win the game. That's the recipe for success for us. I think that we're going to execute that recipe and we're going to win this football game. We're going to go back to the AFC Championship.
With that said, this is why we watch football. Games like this. This is sick. I'm happy this is happening. This is what we all spend hours and weeks and months of our lives dedicated to the sport for shit like this. So let's go. This is hype. This is gonna be an awesome game. I think the weather plays a massive factor. And if it were not snowing and in Buffalo and the most cold, torrential awfulness, I probably am taking the Ravens. But I'm sorry, Nixon. I think it plays a huge factor. I think the Bills win because of it. Josh Allen's play style is, punch you in the mouth, run through you. I don't care where I am. And that just naturally fends well in the heavy, inclement, snowy weather. And Lamar's shiftiness, while elite, I don't think you can ever stop it, but it's neutralized to a large extent when he's got to run through an inch and a half of snow. Again, I'm making this pick. I could easily be wrong, but I just got a gut feeling this is a game that Josh Allen really wants. I'm not saying, the Ravens don't want it. I just don't see how they lose it at home in front of Bills Mafia. It's just something they're going to take out. And, everybody's been questioning the Bills all year long. Who's Josh Allen going to throw to? Who's going to run the ball? James Cook's not that good. They've proven everybody wrong. I got the Bills plus one. I'm just excited to watch the game.
I'll go after you, Postman.
Really quick, Sam, really quick, just to
Oh,
add some color to what Postman just said. Postman, we have a 20% chance of precipitation in Buffalo, New York on Sunday. Obviously, it's going to be below freezing. So if that does happen, it'll be snow, but probably not a lot of snow being in the forecast.
so
Fair
Flurry.
enough. I should have looked at the forecast more closely. That being said, my pick doesn't change. I think when it's below freezing, it just fends well to the Bills play style. So I'm still taking the Bills +1. Sorry, Nixon.
I mean, it's got to be the year for one of them. Eventually, come like at a time we got to stop beating around the bush here. Like one of them's got to get over the hump at some point. I think it's gonna be the Ravens here. You saw it's just they've got too many guys who can just take control of the game. I'm not sure if Zay Flowers is gonna be back or not. But we saw that didn't even have that big of an effect on their offense because you saw what they were doing without Zay Flowers against a good defense like the Steelers. And Bills, I wouldn't really take too much from what you saw against Denver. That was a pretty cookie cutter mismatched or wild card game. But there's really not much you can say that'll lean you towards either team here. It's as 50-50 as it gets, like I said. And I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Let's go Lamar.
You can give the stats about the Ravens running game, their front seven, the Bills passing game, whatever. But, if Josh Allen comes to play, then you never know what can happen. If Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are running their butts off, then, it's probably in the Ravens' favor. So I do agree that, like, it's really whoever shows up. But based off, what I've seen, I think I'm going to lean Buffalo here just because I feel like, but those, like Sam mentioned, these are the two teams who just can't win the big game. They've had some decent playoff success, but never, can really get to that point.
In
And I,
this window. In this
yeah,
window.
yeah. And, in their recent, like, in the
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen era. And I just feel like, the Bills in their last 10 playoff games, they've scored 24 plus in 8 of them. I feel like, a lot of it isn't always due to Josh Allen. Like, yeah, he does always have the turnover problem, but I feel like, we come out of a lot of playoff games saying, wow, Josh really carried the Bills, but they fucked it up. They've had that moment. I feel like the Ravens, their playoff woes have had a lot more to do with Lamar than the Bills' playoff woes have to do with Josh Allen. And I feel like in the playoffs, whatever happens in the first 3 quarters, that's great. But unless it's a blowout, which I don't think it will be, it's going to be a close game. And in that fourth quarter, I feel like, playoff games a lot, it's a lot of the great QBs who come out on top. Not a lot of times do you see the team with the worst QBs unless it's like one of those insane defenses like Brock Osweiler, like the Ravens in 2000 with Trent Dilfer. Like, unless it's one of those teams, the quarterback matters a lot in the playoffs. It comes down to close games. Like we were saying for Jaden Daniels, he's been pulling out the close wins. Like they said for Brady for years, he's been pulling them out. And I just feel like I trust Josh Allen just a slight bit more from what I've seen in their playoff history to go down and win the game. It's so close. So if the Ravens win, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'd be happy. But I just think if it comes down to a close game, I feel like as we've seen all year, Josh Allen's been making play left and right. And so is Lamar, to be honest. Lamar's having a top tier season, but based off their playoff histories, I think that Josh might be a little bit more of a playoff performer. Not by my, he's had his woes too. He's had his struggles, but I feel like I trust him just a little bit more. And the over under, I'm really back and forth on this, but I feel like, it's such a high total. But I feel like this is going to be a game. This is game of the week. So, not a lot of games of the week end 19-15 or whatever, like 21 or 14-7. Unless it's an AFC North game, it's probably not going to be an amazing game that ends under 40 points, under 50 points. So I feel like this has got to be the game of the week, like we all mentioned. This is the only game that, is like, it really doesn't have that much blowout potential. Chiefs Texans could get a little go crazy, Lions Commanders, that game could go one-sided. Even Eagles Rams, if Saquon's having a day like he does sometimes, that game could be over in the third quarter, like some people said. But this is the only game where I really don't see there being any possible way that this game is over until the clock hits 0. So I'm gonna take the over. I feel like there's gonna be. I know it might be a cold game, but we talked about this all year with Josh Allen. Josh Allen can throw the ball 75 yards on a rope in a sunny day in the middle of the summer, and he can throw a 75-yard bomb on the money through a fucking tornado sandstorm while he's being shot at by the US military. Like he is throwing that ball 75 yards in any conditions. And I feel like for this to be the game of the week, it's got to go over. So give me the Bills +1, I guess. This is basically a pick 'em, with the chances they win by one, lose by one. But whoever wins, just please beat the Chiefs. That's my main message. This game, like we've mentioned, it's a toss up. It could go either way. Whoever comes to play could come to play. Two elite teams this year. Just whoever wins, please beat the Chiefs, please. That's all I ask of you.
I don't have no reasoning for my pick, but pure hate. I'm sick of Josh Allen, so I'm taking the Ravens here. There's not much to say. This fuckery can't go on for much longer.
So the Ravens and the Bills played earlier this year. It was 35-10 Ravens on Sunday Night Football. I really hope that this is not how this game goes, that is not how this game goes. I really want this to be a barn burner. However, Derrick Henry had 200 yards in that game, and Zay Flowers is probably not going to play in this game, but it's not known yet at the time of this recording, which is Wednesday at 10:20 p.m. He did not practice today. However, John Harbaugh did say that even if he doesn't practice all week, he still might play. So we don't know. But Zay Flowers did play in the game earlier this year and only had one catch for 10 yards. So he didn't make much of a difference in that game, and the Bills still lost by 25 points. So for those reasons, and because, like Nixon said, it's going to be cold as fuck, Ravens have the best running quarterback of all time and the best running back of our generation. They're going to run zone read at you probably 30 times in this game. They're going to run down your throat just like they ran down the Steelers' throat 14 straight times coming out of halftime, and that broke my soul. This game is an impossible game to pick in terms of like quantifiable stats. It's really just who you think is going to win in your gut. I think the Ravens are going to win this game, as much as it hurts to say that because I hate them. But I think the Ravens are going to win this game. And then I think inevitably they're going to lose to the Chiefs next weekend. But we'll get to that next weekend. I'm going to take the Ravens here. Not going to touch the total. 51.5 is a weird number.
I agree. I think it's exactly how Tommy laid it out. I think they're gonna beat the Bills, lose to the Chiefs. Like Cam said, I can't stand the fuckery any longer. I am sick of this quarterback. I don't know why, but he's just always blown it. I think he's gonna blow it again. Uh, it was very demoralizing watching the Derrick Henry, Lamar read option just easily plow through our defense last week. I don't see why they can't do it again next week. And I think they will. Um, yeah, I mean, the Bills are basically the same team they were last year, minus Stephon Diggs. And we all know how that ended up. So give me the Ravens.
Like if I was in a Ravens fan, I was just watching them like zone read to fucking death. I'd be like, can you guys do something else? Like fuck, it's fun to watch because like it fucking works. But I'm like, if I was rooting for like another team and they're
Yeah.
just like fucking
Let me
zone
let,
read.
let me tell you, Nixon, it sucks being on the other side of that.
Nixon, is he hurt? He looked pretty
Who?
hurt at the end of the game.
Who?
Lamar, he was like holding
Oh
his
yeah, he
ribs.
got kneed in the back. What was the linebacker's name? The white guy, the white linebacker.
Peyton
Hayden
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah, he kneed him in the back. He said he was going to get treatment. He'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, hey, excited for this weekend of football. Uh, with all that
Enjoy it.
with all that being said, Chris Boswell is still my MVP. And like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.